morning, everyone. I first wanted to start by saying thank you so much to Otterbein University and to Dr. Prendel for hosting us yet again. This has been such a marvelous experience to host this year. It's a great facility, the buildings are beautiful, the campus is lovely, and they provide us with student support to help us navigate and get set up for this event. And you have been phenomenal hosts to us. We just want to say thank you so much for your support and your participation. Thank you. Well, first, I want to apologize. Going through a dental transition here, and I have like this weird thing in my mouth, which makes me feel like a 12-year-old with deep braces. So I'm not quite in control of what's happening here right now. Bear with me, I'm going to try and keep it in my mouth. Hopefully that won't that would be bad. So cut that right out. It's okay. But good morning to you all, and as Kathy said, welcome to our 5th annual WELD Leadership Conference, now the first National Leadership Conference. Our mission here at WELD is to develop and advance women's leadership to strengthen the economic prosperity of the communities that we serve. So when we empower and elevate women, it's not just about the individual, it's about them and their families and the community, because women pour so much back in. When they grow, everyone around them and their community environment grow as well. This has been a huge and amazing year for WELD, our first as a national organization. We are already engaging and influencing at the national and international level. As board chair, I represented WELD at a national conference of women's organizations, all dedicated to the economic and leadership advancement of women. We are a member organization of IAM. At this meeting of 13 organizations, we not only engaged one another, shared best practices, and collaborated on education and advocacy, but we engaged in conversation with national and international women leaders on trends, data, and recommendations from the McKinsey Group, as well as international leaders from London, updating us on the commitment of the European Commission under the leadership of Lord Davies. If only we could have a champion like that here in the US, but soon, I'm sure. Alongside those efforts, we have fully launched PACE, our public affairs committee, under the leadership of Becky Cornett, Becky Wade. She is dynamic. We understand the connection of government and policy decisions on the economic advancement of women, and focusing our efforts on increasing the number of women at board and commission tables at the city, county, and state level as well. Finally, WELD has requests from 4 other cities and states to establish new chapters: Northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Indiana. So WELD is definitely on the move. Today, we again have put together some returning favorites and some new offerings for your edification. All will enhance, expand, uplift, and empower you. We always like to start the day by getting you charged up and open up to the possibilities of you. That's what this conference is about, expanding the horizons of what and who you can be. This year, all of our programs have been driven by the chapters of Carla Harris's book, Expect to Win. If you were at the keynote, you definitely experienced something phenomenal. It was like a religious experience. She has become a guru for us all. Here to launch us into the day is a woman who is an author herself, a national empowerment speaker, and someone that I have the privilege of calling friend, soror, my ride or die, and if you don't know what that means, you have one, we need to get one, my family. She is none other than the amazing T Street. Now, I know being a hometown girl, many of you have had the pleasure, but I'm sure quite a few of you in here have not. So hold on to your seats. It takes a lot to name yourself amazing, but when you live up to it, it's not arrogant. It's inspiring, encouraging, challenging even, because she is a seed sower and an uplifter, daring you to be amazing too. So with no further ado, it is my pleasure to share with you this morning the one and only, my bestie, the amazing T Street.
Good morning. Let's try this again. It's early, I know. We're going to try this again because we understand the American greeting system that someone extends a greeting and everyone who heard it returns it. We're going to turn off this other mic. Voila. In kind. So we're going to try it one more time. Good morning. Good morning. So I'm super duper excited to be here this morning. This is my energy level all the time. Sitting in that seat was making me a little crazy because I'm always moving. I am so gifted and so blessed because I serve a Most High God, and so I always start with that, and I don't ever expect anyone to practice what I practice or anything else. I just want you to know where it comes from. So as I was preparing for this, I was excited, and I got a call from someone who was well-meaning, and she said, T, I saw that you're going to be at WELD this year for the leadership conference, and I'm super excited that you are. I said, ooh, me too. And she went on to tell me that she had the occasion to hear from Carla Harris a couple of months ago, and Carla, as she said, knocked it out of the park. T, you have big shoes to fill. And at first I got nervous. It's off. I think it's just reverbing from behind. I got a little nervous at first. I'm like, ooh, big shoes. And so I have heard Carla speak. I have read her book, Expect to Win. I read Strategize to Win. And so I got nervous until I realized who I am. And I said to her, I've been doing some research and I found out that Carla wears a size 8 shoe. I have never been able to wear a size 8 shoe. When I was a kid, I didn't get into dress up and wear my mama's heels because I'm clunky in big shoes. But I wear the heck out of a size 7. And so we're going to start today by talking about a concept that Carla shared with you when she was here, and that's in her book, about being your authentic you. My authentic me can never be Carla Harris. I'm the amazing T Street. And I'm comfortable in that title. People say, T, that's arrogant. I said, no, it's audacious, but it's not arrogant. There is a marked difference between arrogance and confidence. What if every woman and every girl in the world had the confidence to walk in the power, because Carla talks about owning your power, in the power of who they are. I am unapologetically amazing. But I've got a secret for you. There's nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. What I want to do today, we can never expect to win if we don't understand that we've got to walk in our own amazing. Now, my amazing might be different than Yvette's amazing. And when I watch her from afar, I'm in awe. People sometimes become haters when they see other people's gifts. And for people who don't understand that terminology, it's a term that young people use to say envy and jealous. And I'll say to you, I don't ever have to be a hater of other people's talents, because guess what? There's room for more than one star in the sky. Me polishing other women's stars doesn't diminish the shine on mine. That's an important point for us to know. How can we walk in our own amazing? Here's how we're going to walk. Like people said, T, are you going to sing? I'm like, no, because if I sing, they won't ever invite me back again. I'm not a gospel singer. That is not my gifting. I was in here warming up this morning, and somebody said, I heard you singing. I'm like, no, baby, that wasn't singing. I was just pretending and playing around. And I was on the stage warming up, doing a mic check, and I said, you can be amazing. Okay. I love that song. Here's what I want to share with you. The way that you walk in your own amazing is when you learn how to love yourself unconditionally and without apology. My challenge when we work with women is that so many messages have been given to us about who we are and who we are not, that we have internalized, is that it's very difficult for us to truly walk in our amazing because we don't really love ourselves unconditionally and without apology. We love ourselves predicated on superficial things like how we look. How does my hair look today? Well, when I cut all my hair off, if you look at my press photo from last May and you look today, I cut my hair off. People say, T, why did you do that? I had a diagnosis in September of lupus and my hair was falling out. And I decided to be my authentic me and cut it off. And I was like, oh, I still like it. It's kind of fly. want every woman and every girl in America to know that who you are is okay. Learn how to love yourselves unconditionally and without apology. If you Google me, a video will come up. If you Google the amazing T Street, a video will come up from a few years ago, about 8 years ago, when I weighed 368 pounds. I see your faces. I was a big girl. My son said, "Mom, you look like Big Swole." And I did. But here's what I want you to know. Even at 368 pounds, I loved me unconditionally and without apology. I gave myself permission to be amazing at every stage of life that I'm in. That's what you all have to do. When you get up in the morning, I have a ritual that I practice. When I'm on the road and I travel a lot, my agent, when she books me, she always makes sure that I'm in a room. She always asks the hotel, "Do you have a full-length mirror?" I choose to love me first thing in the morning. Before I put on my Mac, before I put on my harness, I choose to love me early in the morning because that's my authentic self. It's before I put my little twisties in my hair. It was bad. How many of you woke up this morning with bad head? Raise your hand, tell the truth. I like honest crowds. We wake up in the morning, we don't look our best. Some of us have slob on the side of our face. We've got bad head, things that are up here right now. We're down here this morning, you know. But I choose to love me then, and I stand in front of the mirror every day, and I look at myself, and I talk to myself. I go, T, 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 T. Because you got to understand, I work a lot with young people, kids, and what you'll learn is if you don't have high self-esteem, you will go home, I see teachers nodding, yep, you will go home broke down every single day because kids are cruel. Kids say whatever is on their mind. Now, I learned a long time ago, I don't like the term fat. I took it out of my vocabulary. I like the term voluptuous. Imagine that we never use the word fat. Which one sounds better? Say voluptuous with me. Voluptuous. Didn't that sound good? The whole room went voluptuous. It just sounded better than fat. There's something about that word. Now, you got to remember, I carry myself in the world. When I was 368 pounds, I asked one of my best friends, I said, "Why didn't you tell me I was that big?" She said, "I assumed you had a mirror." And I told her my challenge was that I never saw myself that big. I simply saw myself as voluptuous. And every morning I look in the mirror and I say, T, 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 T. You're short. You're still a little voluptuous, but girl, you are fine. I look so good I could sop me up with a biscuit. And I walk in the world like that, and it's not a facade. I really believe that there's something deep inside of me that is amazing. But here's what I will also tell you. I believe that there's something deep inside each and every one of you that is also amazing. And when we give each other and ourselves permission to walk in our own amazing selves, workplaces will change. When we give ourselves permission and each other permission to walk in our own amazing, our home lives will change. When I decided that I was no longer going to be a victim of domestic violence, I decided that I was amazing and I deserved better than that. I did deuces. And I walked, but I couldn't do that until I truly understood the gifting that was inside of me that made me amazing. And so the first thing that you've got to do if you truly want to walk in your own, not mine and not Carla's, own amazing, is you've got to learn how to love yourself unconditionally and without apology. So when I say to you, I am unapologetically amazing, I don't care what other people think. I always say what you think of me is none of my business. That's between you and your self-esteem. And when I'm working with young girls and I say to them, when girls are attacking you, there's something that's broken inside of them, which is causing them to attack you. You can't internalize other people's messages. When people tell women in this room that you're not smart enough, that's something broken inside of them. When people tell you that you're not good enough, something is broken inside of them. Don't you dare take that on as your own sweater. You've got to have your own swag. When you walk in the world, you got to be like, I know that's what you think, but sweetie, and you can say it in your head. You don't have to tell them, there's something broken inside of you. Because then you become that same kind of bully who's affecting someone else's self-esteem. You simply say, I'm choosing not to own that. That's the first thing. The other thing that you've got to do, we've got to spend so much less time focused on what other people think. Last night I had one of my friends who's a teacher. She's an amazing, amazing teacher. She's won Educator of the Year at her school so many times more than any other teacher. She's transformed kids' lives, and she's very uncomfortable speaking in front of people, including her class. And she says, I stutter a little bit, T. And I said, so what? That you stutter a little bit, you can work through that. And what she says is, it keeps me from being a master teacher who teaches other teachers because I'm concerned that they will critique me. And I said to her, people will critique you even if you say nothing. You can't get caught up in what other people critique about you. I don't spend my energy consumed or concerned with other people's critique of the amazing T Street because I would never get any work done. How many of you know that sometimes somebody will make one comment? 50 people can say, you did a great job. And one person says one negative thing. How many of you, it eats at you? Tell the truth. Raise your hand. It does that. You've got to learn at some point to start to do this. I tell people all the time, yes, I have flaws because I'm a part of the human condition. Yes, I make mistakes, and when I do, I always come back and ask for forgiveness because I'm a part of the human condition. But here's what I will tell you. I don't spend my energy focused on it because when I used to do that, it made me internalize those messages that made me hate myself. And so I'm going to say to you today, you've got to keep working hard. Keep doing what you do. Young people say, you do you. Do you. Don't allow the critics to silence you. Your success will silence your critics. I'm going to say that one more time. Your success will silence your critics. You don't have to stand up and, I'm not that, I'm not this, I have integrity. Don't tell me you have integrity. Simply walk with integrity. Have integrity. You don't have to explain it to me. Don't tell me that you're great. Just be great. We talk about expecting to win. You can't just expect it. This is the American way, and we set our young people up for failure. We tell our young people, you can be whatever you want to be. I humbly submit to you, you cannot be whatever you want to be. Some people's dreams just went out the door. I saw it crawling. Here's what I will say to you. You can be whatever you work to be. Because the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. So ladies, we've got work to do. And it's okay because none of us are afraid because we love ourselves. We're armed with our own amazing. We can roll up our sleeves and do hard work. How many of you know that we do 4 jobs already? I'm not discounting you. He's sitting here. He's like, T, I got you. Some woman in your life, some mom, somebody in your life did 4 jobs. They got up in the morning, they cooked breakfast and played mom. They took kids off to school, so they played bus driver or chauffeur, or they took them to the bus stop. Then they went to do a job, whether it was in their home like my mom was a stay-home mom and my dad went to work, whether it was in their home or outside of their home, they did a job. Then they came home and did what we call the second shift, where they had to give baths. How many of you tired just thinking about your lives right now? I'm a single mom. I have 2 sons. My oldest son is a captain in the U.S. Air Force, a graduate of Howard University with a master's degree, working on his PhD at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. I popped my collar because I worked. I know it's his degrees, but he didn't get there by himself. And then I've got this thing called a 14-year-old. And when I'm at my most frustrated point, my mom reminds me, she said, remember that prayer I prayed? I prayed that God would send you. Don't tell me God doesn't answer prayer. And so I'll say to you, when you're living those 4 lives, I want you to continually press in. Left foot, right foot, left foot. There are no shortcuts to success. But guess what? Every woman in this room and you have the potential to be there. He's like, what's your name? What's your name, sweetheart? Bob. Bob was like, T, I got this. I always love men like Bob because Bob is like, I'm comfortable in my own skin. And Bob is also the smartest man in the room. He said, 250 women is greater than 1. Sign me up. And so I want you to know, as you're all pressing in, Carla talks a lot about not being adverse to risk. My theory is you'll never learn to swim if you don't risk drowning. How many of you can swim? How many of you remember the first time? Now, some of us don't remember because our parents threw us in a pool at 6 months, oh child abusers. How many of you remember when you first stepped into the water and you were petrified? You're standing on the edge like this. And your mom's saying, let go. Or your swim instructor saying, let go. You're like, I'm scared. I'm not going to let go. And they're like, kick your feet. That's how it starts. You don't have to start by submerging your body into your future. You just got to start somewhere. Start by kicking your feet. But I assure you that you'll never learn to swim if you don't risk drowning, because every time you enter the water, you could drown. Now, one of my best friends was getting her PhD at Ohio State, and she was slow in writing her dissertation, and it was getting on my nerves. And so in January, I did a couple things. She was working with this youth group. I invited them to her June graduation. I sent invitations to her family in Arkansas for the graduation party for June. And I told everybody that Bill Cosby was going to be the speaker at her commencement, so they needed to be there. People were like, cool. All the kids got excited. Her family started making reservations to come to Ohio because she was at Ohio State. And she felt pressured. And I said to her, pressure is good. Don't run away from pressure. Do the thing that challenges you most. Do the thing that challenges you most because it will provide for you the most growth and transformation. So don't be afraid, because see, a diamond is merely cold that got pressed and made good under pressure. It's okay to feel a little pressure. So when she was finished, all of our friends got together and we agreed that we were going to take her to Hawaii for 8 days. We went to Hawaii, we paid for her ticket, and all of us paid for our own. We paid for her housing. We get to Hawaii. I'm an adventurous person. I skydive, I do all those kind of fun things. So the one thing I'd never done was jet ski. Believe it or not, I had been skydiving and hang gliding. I'd been parasailing, but I had never been on a jet ski, and I always wanted to. I like speed. Can you tell? I just like speed. And so we decided we were going to go jet ski, and all my friends were like, nah, T, I'm good. That's the ocean. You know Jaws out there, right? And I said, no, guys, I want to do this. So my friend, her name is Dr. Sakile Kamara. Sakile said, and she used to teach here at Otterbein, she said, T, I'll go out there with you. And Sakile never tries anything. Now, we get out there, and I get on the first jet ski, and I didn't have good control of the mobile. It was going like this. So I said, okay. The guy said, you probably shouldn't drive. You drive like you've had some alcohol. I'm like, I don't drink. He was like, let your friend drive. Now I want you to picture this jet ski. My friend at that time was about 5'10", weighing a good 280. I'm 5 foot, weighing a good 350. And they put us on one jet ski. I know that jet ski is like, I'm retired today. So we get out there, and I give her some instructions. I said, look, I want you to go fast, except on the turns. They attach her to the jet ski from the life vest. And I say to her, I'm going to hold on. But make no mistake, if I end up in the water, you ended up in the water. We're going to get this straight. She said, okay, T, I got you. Now I'm out there and I'm risking this adventure that I've never had before. And that was the year that all the sharks were in the oceans and everybody was talking about it. I'm like, I'm going to die today. So she's on there and she's driving. We're hitting these waves like this, vroom, vroom. And every time she would go around a corner, I'd go, slow down. She'd slow down and come around the corner. We'd been out there literally about 40 minutes and we were coming in at the 45-minute mark. I'm like, keep going, vroom, vroom. She forgot to slow down on a curve. And all of a sudden, we hit this wave. All I remember is that we went up into the air and we came down like this. Poof! Off came my $25 goggles that I had paid for. Off came my life vest. I was like, how'd that vest get off this big body? And I'm out there. Then I get a little angry because I realized that she's probably still on the jet ski because I didn't remember to pull her in. So I'm out in the water, treading water. Sometimes, ladies, it's okay when you don't know where you're going or how you're going to get there to just tread water. It's okay. And I'm out there and I'm panicked. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm mad. I'm like, she's on the jet ski. She's on the jet ski. And I look over and I'll hear this voice that says, T. she's in the water. And this joy came over me. And I got excited and I said, yes. And she said, I'm over here. So I swam over to her because I can swim. I used to be a competitive swimmer. I swam over to her. And when I got to her, she had her vest on. And she looked at me and she said, I can't swim. And I'm thinking, thank goodness for the vest. And can I hold on? And I'm saying to her, don't kick because we might attract the sharks. Sometimes we operate in the world like that, women. When we're in the workplace, when we're moving throughout our lives, we don't want to make too much noise because people might pay attention to us, and then the critics will come. The jaws of the world will come. Kick anyway. All of a sudden, I'm like, guys, if they come, and I look at her and I said, look, if they come out here, they're going to have a smorgasbord, okay? So we're out there. All of a sudden, this little guy, they send him out there to help us because we're at the jet ski, but we can't get back on. Because I realized that this is not a muscle. It's just flab. And she realized that her this wasn't a muscle either, and we're both trying to pull ourselves off the back. And I'm like, I can't get all this out the water. So they come out and they send out this little guy, and he comes out on this jet ski. And the first thing I think when they send him out is, they got jokes. She 280, 5'10", I'm 350, and they send me this guy who is about 5'6". He weighed about 140. And I know once he got out there, he looked at us and was like, they got jokes. And so he gets in the water, and I don't know if you know this, but on voluptuous women like me, a bathing suit becomes a thong. And so I'm in there, and he's pushing up from the bottom. And I'm thinking, that's not it. And so he moves from me to my friend, Sakile, and he's pushing up from the bottom. And she's very uncomfortable. She's like, and she's stiff as a board. Needless to say, it didn't work. So they send out this other guy, right? And he comes out, he's on his jet ski, puts the two jet skis by each other, the third one's over here, and he's totally stereotypical, right? He's like, beautiful, long blonde hair, big muscles. I was like, hey. And he comes out and he says, dude, here's what's gonna do. I'm gonna reach over, grab your hand, pull you up. So he decides to do her first, right? And it worked. He reached over, both jet skis, planted himself, grabbed her hand, pulled her up. I was like, cool. And he tells her, go on away. She's like, I'm not leaving my girl. When there's more than one of us in the workplace, we have a responsibility to and for each other. Lift as you climb. When you are in positions of power, we have a responsibility to bring other women along with us. Lift as we climb. She said, I'm not leaving my girl. She moved away a little bit so that he could put the two jet skis now back together. He reaches over, and that's when I learned the principle that your arm span is the same as your height. Because as I'm trying to reach up, my arm wasn't as long as hers. And so I'm like, so he's telling little dude, push her towards me. I'm like, he tried that already. He's like, dude, I mean to get her, okay? So he reaches over and he pulls me up. I get back on the jet ski and he tells me to go on in. He wasn't there when I first tried my driver's ed on the jet ski. So I get back and I'm like this. And I'm following behind her and the fumes from her jet ski are coming into my face. I've swallowed all this seawater. I'm like, this is not gonna be good. This is not gonna be good. And when we get back to the landing, we get off and the guy looks at me and he thinks he's funny and he goes, ha, 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 have a little fall? I'm like, bleh. But I'll tell you, that was one of the greatest adventures of my life. To fall into the ocean in Hawaii is an amazing thing. And I'll say this to you, I would never have had that experience if I hadn't risked drowning. You'll never learn to swim if you don't risk drowning. This is my final point. If you are ever going to walk in your own amazing, you've got to move beyond potential and move into actualization. How many of you, someone has said to you, you have great potential? So what? Stop allowing people to tell you. Stop telling our girls and our boys that they have great potential. I know that we do that to encourage each other, but the real way to encourage each other is to tell people and show people who they really are. Potential equals zero. It equals nothing. The greatest potential in the world lives, lies, and rests in the cemetery. Because people leave here every day without fully realizing who they were brought here to be and to do. I intend to be a grave robber with no potential. I simply do. Who cares if you have the potential to be a CEO if you never make moves? Who cares if you have the potential to be a great artist if you never pick up a paintbrush? Who cares if Carla had the potential to be a singer if she never opened her mouth and sang? If we're going to move and make moves in whatever our careers are, ladies, we've got to move beyond potential and move into actualization. We've got to walk in our own amazing. Now, people who are game changers, they are people in action, not in motion. Many of you in this room are not moving in your careers. You're not moving where you want to go because you're in motion. Am I in motion or action? I'm in motion. Motion doesn't require us to leave our comfort zones. We never have to walk out of our little box, our place of comfort, our place where we know we run the world. Right here, we never have to move. But what we also don't do is we don't change ourselves or the world by being in motion. People who change the world are people in action. Today, I'm giving you a challenge. I am challenging you to walk in your own amazing with action. To walk is an action verb. It's an action verb. I didn't just say be amazing. That's a passive verb. To walk in your amazing is an active verb. People who change the world are in action. People who maintain the status quo are in motion. I hate motion because it gives the illusion. People think that you're doing something. I'm doing my thing. No, you're not. Right? And what you tell yourself is, I'm just faking it till I make it. You don't have to fake it. Just make it. You don't have to fake it. I don't want a fake cake. Bake me a cake. You don't have to fake it until you make it. Just do it. That's Nike's slogan. I'm not trying to pretend Nike. It wasn't me. That's Nike's slogan. Just do it. But to walk in your amazing is an action verb. See what I got? I don't know about you, but I like money. I had a $20 bill. It's not much. It's just 20. Who wants $20? She said, T, I got the first hand. Who wants $20? I love all the hands in the air. Who wants $20? She was like, T, right here, you got me. Why you move back? Why did you move back? I heard you. I don't think you heard me. She said, I asked her why she moved back. She said, I don't think you heard. I don't think you heard me. I told you that people who change the world are in action. Everybody else is in motion. You got up, that's your first step. But baby, the $20 bill is still in my hand. The $20 bill is still in my hand. So you see, I'm the amazing T Street, but I walk in my own amazing every day. I'm not in motion, I'm in action. My job and my mission is to change the world for girls and women and young boys so that we have a world that's different than what we have today. I'm the amazing T Street, but I can assure you there's absolutely nothing that is amazing in me that's not in each and every person in this room. I charge and challenge you to walk in your own amazing. Thank you all so much.